Good morning, Tottenham fans. Tottenham played two friendlies today against Luton and against Wickham. 11 o'clock kickoff and a 3 o'clock kickoff. Jake, it was 11, not 12. I'll give you the hits and misses from both matches today. I'll tell you why I think we opted for two matches in one day, who I think will be sold as a result of this, and who I think may not even be going on the tour on Monday to Korea, and why there is no need for a meltdown just yet. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. This channel is going from strength to strength thanks to you guys. Thank you for all your contributions. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. I enjoy our chats in the comment section. I normally try to reply to as many people as I can if I get time. If I don't, apologies. So let me get into this video. So first game, 11 o'clock against Wickham, and it was pretty underwhelming. Our attack, if you haven't watched it, our attack was very lackluster. I think the build-up play was okay. You can see in this game and in the next game I'm going to talk about that the build-up play, the players are still learning it. They're still very new to it. You can see it a mile off. They're still overthinking each movement, each pass. There were some good performances in the first game. Romero, I think, was absolutely solid in in defence. Vuskovic was so comfortable on the ball. Pressed. They targeted him for a little while. Wickham did, but he was so comfortable on the ball. There weren't many times that I could see he was giving the ball away. There was a time when Wickham whipped the ball in and he headed it clear, and then they whipped it in from the other side and he headed it clear again. So he's showed a lot for me. To be fair, in the last two games now that I've seen him, he showed me enough to think, he could be staying. He's a decent player. Going forward, Papa Sarr scored 2 goals. He was playing a lot further forward than normal, more of a 10 role. He was playing very, very well. The thing with Papa Sarr is he's very, very good off the ball, but not the best on the ball. He's good at finishing chances as well in the box. He's very, very good at that. But off the ball, he seems to give the ball away a bit too much. But he can work on that and he can get better. But other than that, his work rate was insane. He was intercepting passes. He was doing the same Papa Sarr that we always see. Very good work ethic. The only forward player that really stood out to me was Odegaard. Odegaard was causing problems for the Wickham defence, but I have to get on to like Sonny and Richie, and it's sad to talk about it, but Sonny is not the old Sonny he was, and I don't want to be coming on to my channel and saying that Sonny played badly every week, and it seems to be the way at the moment. I think the best thing for him and for everyone is if he went to America and played the next few years there as a superstar, because he's a legend. He's one of my favourite players of all time. I just think every player leaves your club at some point, and I think this is the perfect time for him. He's a European champion. He won the Europa League with being captain as well, and we all adore him. I just don't want it to go into next season where he's really struggling and we have to keep not slagging him off. I don't think, well, people do slag him off. That's the problem, and I won't never do that. But I don't want to keep saying Sonny was poor today. Sonny was poor today. He was again today pretty poor, and there was a few glimpses of him doing some good stuff. But on the whole, he was struggling massively to take on his man. His shooting was horrendous. Then we get to Richie. Richie's finishing was horrendous. He only had a couple of chances, but both times fluffed it. His hold-up play is probably his strongest part, and he still doesn't do that the best. People keep saying Richie's really good at hold-up play, but every time I see him and watch him, it hits him and bounces off, and he has to sprint and try and tackle the person that got the ball off him. It's a very strange to see a Brazilian with such a poor touch. It really is. He's just, for me, he made no impact whatsoever. He's just not good enough. And, I know it's pre-season and he needs to get match sharp and all that lot, but I've been seeing this for a long, long time. Richie's either has a poor performance or he's unavailable for injury. He missed the first pre-season game already this season, so 50% of the games we've played so far he's been injured. I just think we can do a lot better up front. We're playing Champions League football and we're going to be like trying to aim higher in the Premier League. We can't have a really bad out of form Sonny and a really bad out of form Richie, because then what happens is we got Slanky to play twice a week when Richie gets injured. So we definitely need somebody up top. That's what it's told me anyway. So in that first game, I'd say the standouts. Oh, I'll have to mention George Abbott as well. What happened was Bentancur was sick before the game, so George Abbott filled in for him, and he did a good job, to be honest. I think he held himself to account really well. He was good on the ball. He was good pressing, good tackling. He didn't really make many mistakes. He did very, very well. Like, I was quite impressed with him, to be honest. So he was decent. If you look at the subs, Thompson came on the left wing, and he was very, very good. He took on his players more in 10 minutes than Sonny did for the whole 45 in the first half. So that tells you what he was doing, and he was pretty decent. That's the first time I've seen Thompson play, to be honest, and he impressed me quite a bit. Anyone else I need to mention? Porro was really good. Porro's passing range is exceptional. What he was doing, he was playing further forward, and we was playing like a back three of Davies, Romero and Vuskovic when we had the ball, but then when we didn't have the ball, then Porro would come back to a back four again. So, but Porro had freedom to move forward, and it worked really, really well. He did some really good passing. Bergvall was very rusty. That's the nicest way I'm going to say it. Quite a few mislaid passes. He looked the same as he did at the beginning of last season, but I'm sure he will develop a lot quicker this season than he did last season. So yeah, first game, pretty dull. Ended up 2-2. Sarr got both goals. Thompson set up the second goal, by the way, with a great 1-2 with Sarr and a pinpoint cross to Sarr to finish, which was a pretty decent goal, to be honest, so I can't let that go by. Brandon Austin in goal was pretty poor, so he let in a really poor goal. It's a shot from about 25 yards and it just trickled under his legs, which weren't the best. So he hasn't staked a claim at all. And then in the second game, if I can remember it rightly, we was playing against Luton at 3:00, and we had Van der Ven at the back with Danso. Jamie Donnelly had to come in at left back because your doggy had a slight knock. And I've heard people on X blaming Ange for these injuries as well. Crazy stuff. So who impressed me in the second game? Well, going forward, Kudus was a mile ahead of everybody. He really was. Every time he got the ball, he looked dangerous. Tell had some spats where he was pretty decent. He's got a hell of a cross on him. Tell has got a really good ball on him. So if you give him time and space, he can cause a lot of problems for opposition defence. His work rate is really good. I think Tell and Kudus were a lot better than Richie and Sonny today, if you compare the two games. Up front, we had to have... Who was up front today? I can't remember at the moment. I'll get that in a minute out of the top of my head. In midfield, we had Archie Gray sitting in the 6, with Basuma, I think it was. And it wasn't the best midfield partnership, to be honest. Basuma done his usual thing again, giving the ball away. Gray was doing a lot of long balls, but not hitting the players, either hitting it too long. But he looked more comfortable in midfield than he has done in the past, so I have to take that as a positive, I suppose. Oh yeah, Mikey Moore was playing. I kept forgetting. That was me. Mikey Moore was like in the 10 sort of thing. And for me, he just... I forgot he was playing. He needs to go on a loan, to be honest. I've done a few little nice things here and there, but he's not ready either. Jed Spence was right back. Jed Spence was... Jed Spence does this weird thing where he shields the ball for no reason. Like, he's got the ball out of his feet. He can either look up and find a pass, but instead he waits for the striker to come, and he just shields it and falls over. And I'm not sure why he does that. He made a few weird decisions today that made me question. Well, not question, made me realise why Porro was number one, because Porro had a much better performance today than Spence did. So, yeah, it's just so. Anyway, so let me get into why I think Frank played 2 games. I think he played 2 games because of this reason. He wanted to see who sinks and who swims. I think he was had a vision in his mind of who he wants to keep, who he wants to sell. They had to prove themselves today, and I think the ones in my mind that I thought we'd be selling, all of them underperformed. All of them did. So, and the ones I'm going to mention, who I think it's Sonny, it's Richarlison, it's Bissouma, Davies, not sure on anymore, but them 4 are most probably definites for me. None of them really made any impact against, a league, I think it's League 1 opposition and League 2. So, yeah, not the best performances today, but like I said, there's no need for a meltdown about this. Both games were very underwhelming. There were some strong players, there were some weak players, but again, we have to put it all into context. It's a friendly. They've just had 2 months off. They've got to get match fit again. They're still learning a new way of playing. They're still adapting to a different system. They have to get the Ange system out of their minds and try and transition. There's lots of reasons why they could be rusty. Some of them are coming back from injury. This is not me making excuses up. This is just me telling you that there's no need for a meltdown. These things can work themselves out. But what it does show is we do need, I'd say, 3 or 4 new signings to come in. We definitely need a Morgan Gibbs-White, because you got to remember we was missing Maddison today. We was missing Kulusevski as well. Bentancur didn't get to play. Udogie didn't get to play, and plus these 2 sides were evenly matched out, and the best side together would probably be a very, very strong 11, to be honest. A very strong 11. So we have to put that into context as well. Remember, we weren't playing a full, strong side on either match. So there's no need for a meltdown. I know I've seen people online, and they're saying, one person said, and I'm not joking, one person said, Frank out already. They're already saying, I think it was a joke though, to be honest, but they're saying Frank out already. He's tactically inept. These might be Ange fans saying this, to be honest. But to be fair, we didn't create that many chances. We really didn't. There wasn't no attacking. The attacking football was literally not there. I'm just thinking to myself, how long is it going to be until people start moaning that they're bored of this football, wish we didn't sack Ange, blah, blah, blah. And I was one that wanted to keep Ange, remember. But I think Frank will do very, very well. I think he'll be a very strong manager. He has proven to be a very good tactical manager. So we will see. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think there is need for meltdown just yet? Or should we be calm? What players do you think we should keep? And what players do you think we should sell? Even what players do you think we should loan out and try and get some players in to strengthen this first 11? Thank you for watching, and come on you Spurs.